Hello beautiful human beings of the internet, I'm Lauren Elizabeth and I'm here to talk to you about something important for once. Just kidding, it's always somewhat important. This just happens to be extra important. So this video was inspired by, I posted on my Instagram story probably about a week ago now, posted 5 facts about me on Instagram. In those 5 facts, I decided to share a fact randomly. I don't know what caused me to just in that moment talk about it. It's something that is normal to me and I thought, you know, what is stuff that people really don't know about me? One of the first things that popped in my head was I take medicine every day. I mean, taking a prescription medication every day is not like a low-key thing usually. It means that there's something wrong and you're taking steps to fix it. So I decided to share that I take antidepressants every single day because I think there's a big stigma out there about mental illness in general and especially about prescription drugs and when it comes to mental illness and mental health. And I just wanted my audience to know I'm always someone who's super transparent and super open and honest because that's just how I am as a person. I just decided to share that piece of information with everyone so that you could see, although everything might look perfect, especially on Instagram, that's somewhere where you only share things that look good and look pretty and look nice and look enjoyable. I thought, you know what, just so you know, by the way, something that I never Instagram is that I wake up and take 2 pills every morning. Posting that actually caused a big outpouring of support in my Instagram DMs. A lot of people were saying things like they had no idea that I took that kind of medicine and that they were too afraid to go on medicine because they didn't know anyone else that did. They didn't want to admit that they were sick. They didn't know how to get medicine. They didn't know what medicine to take. And so I just wanted to start an open conversation of just more so support of anyone that's dealing with mental illness and kind of answering your guys' questions about why I take medicine and how it affects my life. Some of the messages sounded a little something like this. Lauren, it's comforting to know that you struggle or have struggled with anxiety. You've gotten through it and have been very successful. It's made me realize that there is hope. I've missed so many opportunities, but I'm too scared to take medication. Now I'm definitely reconsidering. I've gotten homeschooled because of how bad my anxiety got in the classroom. I now know that it's okay to take it if you need it. I can't hold back. Thank you so much for sharing. Hey Lauren, seeing your story about anxiety meds literally made my day. I've struggled with anxiety forever, but just started taking meds for it. Sometimes it gets me down to think about having to take it forever, but it's good to know that people stay on it. What medicine are you on? Thanks so much. Love you. I would love to hear more about your story with anxiety if you were willing to share. I got so many messages like that. And even girls that I know just saying, I'm so glad you opened up about this, or what medicine are you on? The first thing I immediately said was, listen, this is the medicine I'm on, but I'm not your doctor. I don't know what you're struggling with. You don't even know what I'm struggling with. So use my story or just the statement of me being on an antidepressant, anti-anxiety medication every single day. Use that as something that opens a conversation to talk about your own mental health. Don't use that as something that makes you think, oh, because Lauren does it, I do it. If it's something that you need to be doing and me being on medicine inspires you to take the next step with your doctor, that's amazing. What I take in no means doesn't mean it's like the best of the best. This isn't a haul or a product test or something where I'm like, go buy this mascara, it's the best. That's not the way I'm talking about anxiety medication. I don't know how much I've told about this story before, but the reason I went on anxiety medication is because when I say anxiety medication, I don't mean Xanax or something that in the moment makes you calm down from having a panic attack. That's something I've always had at my disposal since I was very young, because, not very young, but since I was in high school, because I would have panic attacks at school and I just needed it sometimes when I was having a bad day to be able to actually calm down, because sometimes when you have bad anxiety, a bad day is really bad in the grand scheme of things. I was on a bunch of different medicines in high school when I was trying to figure out my mental health and nothing made me feel good. And I remember, and I've talked about it before, flushing everything down the toilet and just being done. I was on so many different types of things and just wasn't really developed as a person yet, and medicine just wasn't for me. I struggled with anxiety and depression all throughout my teens and in my early 20s, and it got better for a while, especially when I moved to California and was finally in an environment where I was doing things that fulfilled my life and my purpose in life and stuff that I wanted to be doing, whereas at school at the time wasn't that. But then I started to go through my 20s, and your 20s are hard, and part of you says, I want to be so strong that I don't have to take medicine, and I want to be at a point where my depression is so low, or my anxiety is so low that I don't have to take medicine. But sometimes you can't heal yourself. Just how you don't want to have a cold or you don't want to have the flu, so you take all these vitamins and you do all the right things, sometimes your body still gets sick. I always use the example of when there's something wrong with your car, if the brakes stop working or something starts squeaking, you immediately freak out and you take it to the mechanic because you want your car to be perfect. But when something's wrong with our bodies, or something feels off, or something doesn't feel okay, we don't tell anyone, we bury it inside of us, and we just keep moving and pretending to be perfect. And I got in the habit of kind of going on a roller coaster and being good for a few months and then getting really, really low, and then being good for a few months and getting really, really low. It wasn't until I was dating my ex-boyfriend that I saw this pattern a lot more, because when you're in a relationship with someone, you see a lot more about yourself because you affect someone else and you're doing life with someone else. So it's not as easy to shove everything down and to pretend like everything's okay when you're sharing a life with someone. I've mentioned it before, and at the tail end of my last relationship, I knew that I wasn't my best self, and I knew I didn't love myself, and I started seeing a therapist. And while seeing a therapist, saying everything that was going on in my life, and basically getting re-diagnosed with just chronic anxiety, I told her, as someone who's dealt with depression, which is just, you know, a horrible, horrible state to be in. It's not being sad, it's something so much more than that. A lot of the times it's the chemical imbalance in your brain, and you can't help it. You know you don't want to be sad, you know you want to have a good day, but you physically cannot. My anxiety had gotten so bad, and I'd never experienced this before, not even in high school or anything, where my anxiety was so bad that I didn't see a life without it. And because of that, I was going into a state of depression. And as someone who's been there before, it scared the shit out of me. And I was like, fuck this. No way, this is not happening. And I remember telling my therapist at the time, I was like, I can't go back down this road. I need to do whatever it takes, because I was waking up at 7 a.m. every morning, not being able to breathe, just being scared of everything, just living in complete and utter fear. I had this voice in my head that I didn't understand. I felt like a literal crazy person, and I'm already someone who's so hard on myself and such a perfectionist, and I want everything to be okay. But this was just so much different. This was a different voice, and this anxiety monster had literally taken over my life to a point where it was about to cause me to go into a depression, because I was so sick and tired of it that I was literally about to surrender and just go into a deeper hole of anxiety and depression. So knowing that and realizing that and asking for help and telling someone and confiding in someone, that was when I was recommended to go see a doctor. And I always thought, you know, if I'm not on medicine, I'm winning. If I'm not on medicine, I'm stronger than that. I'm not really sick. And so I didn't want to go on medicine because I didn't want to change who I am. And I'm someone who talks to a camera for a living or is on set pretending to be a character, and I didn't want to be numbed out. I didn't want to not be my best self, and I just had all these different stigmas in my head about what a medicine would do to me. And I made all of my concerns clear, and I made all of my symptoms clear to my doctor, and I was prescribed something. I'm not going to say what I'm prescribed just because I don't think you guys need to know that, and I don't want it to get in anyone else's head. But I was prescribed an antidepressant that works really well for people with anxiety, and I started on, you know, a dose of a small milligrams, doubled that, and then tripled that. And that's what I've been on for about 2 years now. I take 2 pills every single morning for 2 whole years. And after a few months, I was feeling amazing. It was just like that voice got so much quieter in conjunction with the therapist, because I actually knew what was going on in my head. I educated myself about how my mind was working. So it made me feel less crazy, and it made me feel more educated. And I was able to stop the cycle in conjunction with the medicine that actually balanced the chemicals in my brain back to a normal state. Because if you're sick, you're sick. If you're diagnosed with anxiety, you're not stressed. You have a chemical imbalance in your brain. There's something off within you. Your mind is sick. Sure, there are different types of sicknesses, but that doesn't mean you're not allowed to feel what you feel, and that it shouldn't be taken seriously and treated with medical care. I'm not saying medicine's for everyone, but I'm saying after going on medicine for 3 months and feeling the best I'd ever felt, I thought I didn't need it anymore. I said, yay, it worked, we're done. But anxiety's not a cold. Depression's not a cold. It doesn't just go away after you finish your antibiotics and then you're fine for a few months until maybe you catch another cold. Maybe, but not for me. I stopped taking the medicine, I started forgetting, I started getting lazier, and that's when the roller coaster began again. So for the next probably 9 months, I struggled with going on and off my medicine and becoming lazy with it, thinking I didn't need it as much. And then I realized in the big grand scheme of things, when I was trying to figure out what was wrong again, I figured out that every time the medicine got so far out of my system, that's when I started going down into a dark place again. And so I went to my doctor, and I was kind of explaining these things to her, and she looked at me and she said, so you figured it out? you realize you need the medicine and that it helps you. So are you gonna keep taking it? And I remember just sitting there like, yep. Now it's just a part of my daily routine, honestly. I learned the hard way that the medicine was working for a reason and that I needed it for a reason. I don't know if I'm gonna be on it for the rest of my life. I don't know. I mean, I hope I don't have to be, just because it's kind of annoying to take pills every day, but also it's more annoying to be anxious every day, and I'd rather take the pills. It's a learning process. Like I said, when I was in high school, I took anxiety, depression medication that I didn't like, but it was also in conjunction with a few other things. There's so many different medicines out there. There's so many different doctors out there. It's definitely a journey. It's not just an overnight solution. But I just wanted to open up a conversation and share part of my story because obviously people just want to assume that no one else is struggling with what they are and that no one understands. And I'm telling you right now, I don't know what you're going through, but I've gone through some shit too, and I know it's not easy, and I know it sounds easier than it is. And I promise you, even though it might be harder to figure it all out, it's worth it for your future self. And a lot of people are saying they're just scared to take medicine. And I'm not over here just encouraging medicine for everyone. I'm just telling you guys my story because it's truly the thing that saved my life. I think I could have gone just insane. Like, I don't know what would have happened to me if I didn't start taking medicine when I did. It's truly what saved me. And it just goes to show that after taking it and trying to get off it and going back on it, I was so imbalanced, and it's such an internal thing that you had to take care of yourself. Just how if you have another type of sickness, it wasn't like I popped one pill and I instantly felt better. It's definitely a process and a learning process, and something you have to go through with the help of your family and your doctors. But I think it's a conversation that needs to not have a stereotype around it, because it truly can save someone's life. And obviously you don't want to have kids start being sad and just going to the doctor and getting medicine. That's why I always recommend seeing a therapist and then doing a few sessions before and seeing if they recommend you to go to a psychiatrist and get prescribed medicine. I'm by no means a doctor. That's why I'm just talking about my story, not giving out free prescriptions to anything. I just thought it was really interesting, the amount of people that messaged me after I opened up about taking anxiety medication every day, about how many people that I didn't have any of those issues at all, and that made them want to care more about their state of mental health. And I just think it's so important to take care of your mental health just as much as your physical health, because at the end of the day, people with anxiety and depression know it takes a toll on you physically if you don't address it in the beginning. And when my anxiety is the worst is when it's physically affecting me. And there's so many different solutions, and there's so many different medicines and doctors, like I said. I just want to keep the conversation going on my channel. I've always talked about mental illness and mental health on my channel, and it's something I'm so passionate about, because I truly think there's hope for every single person out there, even the most hopeless person in the world. I wish I could just grab and help and tell them it's going to be okay and we can get through this together. And although I can't grab each and every one of you through the camera and give you a hug, just know that you are not alone. There are so many people out there that want to help you, obviously including me, and me uploading this video is hopefully something that can help you. And you're not alone in this, no matter how lonely it feels. Trust me, I know. But there's nothing more rewarding than taking care of yourself, saving yourself, and coming out the other side better than you were before. And by no means am I now perfect. I still struggle with anxiety. I still forget to take my medicine. I still have breakdowns. I still feel a little crazy sometimes, but it's like night and day to where I was 2 years ago when I wasn't taking medicine. It's what's kept me leveled. It's what's kept me sane. It's what's really helped me live an everyday life of normalcy of someone who doesn't live with mental illness. I encourage you, if you're feeling hopeless, if you're feeling anything in the realm that you need help with mental health, I encourage you to reach out and find someone you trust. And they're not your therapist, they're not your doctor, but you can at least feel like you're not alone. And if you don't have anyone like that, there are places you can call, there are people you can call, and there are more than enough therapists and doctors in this world that want to help. So I hope you guys enjoyed hearing a little one-on-one about kind of the update of where my mental health is. It's weird that I have an update because I just have talked about it on my channel for so long. The only person that can save you is you, and no one can help you unless you want help. So I just encourage you to really look within yourself and decide what your next step towards a healthy, better life is, because we all deserve it. Even if you don't have mental illness issues, there's still always a way to better your health. And there's just always steps you can take to create an incredible lifestyle for yourself that just feels so good from the inside and radiates out into all the people around you. I probably should have taken like questions to answer throughout this video because I feel like there's gonna be questions, but I just kind of blurted it all out and let you guys know my story and my opinions and just wanted to start a conversation. So leave a comment down below with your thoughts. Hopefully they're positive, because if you're on a video about spreading positive mental health awareness, leaving negative comments, that should be a wake-up call for yourself. The internet is crazy. I just want you all to know I love you very, very much, and I am so appreciative of your support, and I love talking to you guys more than anything in the world. Make sure you're following me on everything else for my daily tips and just daily insights into my life and just 5 random facts about me that might be about anxiety. Make sure you're subscribed and give this video a thumbs up if you want me to do more sit-down videos and more videos where we talk about life. So I will talk to you guys later. I love you very much, and I'm out.